What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Vlog Palace. How's everybody doing? This is vlog number 1, the love for the Knicks. Man, where do I begin with this team, man? This is my favorite New York Knicks, my favorite sports team in all of New York and all over the world. I have deep and love and so much fandom in this team. You know, I really love this team so much. Where do I really begin? Well, I have a lot of stories to tell about this team, and what I would like to talk about in this vlog number 1 is talk about what was my first basketball game. Happens to be the Knicks. My first basketball game. How did it all started? When did I become a real fan of the team? And I have I think 1 or 2 stories to share, during my Knicks fandom, and talk about the current team, where we at right now, how far can we go, because we're going to talk so much more about this team. So let's get started. I want to talk about how it all began. My first basketball game, my first Knicks game, happens to be 1999 NBA Finals, Game 5. And it was the Knicks versus Spurs. Obviously, Spurs won. At that time, I was not a fan. I didn't know anything about the Knicks. I remember I ended up sitting next to my brothers. They were Knicks fans. They're the 90s Knicks. They loved the Knicks, too. So I ended up watching the game. And there was only one player. I didn't know who were the Knicks. I remember who was the team with the white jerseys. It was the Knicks. Who was the one with the black jerseys? It was the Spurs. So they told me who the Knicks were, but there was one particular player that was wearing that white jersey, that was wearing the Knicks, was Latrell Sprewell. That guy really caught my eye. I loved the way he played the game. I love how fast he was. I love the defense, the way he used to steal the ball and just run through fast break. He was such an electric player, man. I fell in love with the guy. He was an awesome player to watch. And he was the reason why I ended up starting to watch the Knicks more and more. So the following year, which was the year 2000, we would make the playoffs, but we got eliminated. Then 2001, I remember he made to the All-Star appearance a couple of times. And it was around 2001 where I really got deep into the Knicks fandom. I was a fan of the Knicks. I loved the Knicks. And I was just watching it, man. I was watching it, and he was the guy that I loved to watch. He's definitely one of my favorite Knicks of all time. And so he was the reason what made me really become a Knicks fan. Then, yes, of course, the year 2003, summertime, they ended up trading him. It was a 4-team trade, and we ended up getting Keith Van Horn. Come on, man. Keith Van Horn. So you got rid of Sprewell, who was a great player, for Keith Van Horn. Now listen, Keith Van Horn, I've watched him play. I think he played with the Nets, I believe, right? Number 44, I remember. He was the one with the long socks. He was like 6'9", 6'10". Now, his game would have been perfect in today's game. And he was like a small forward, a big small forward, but he was an undersized power forward, but he was like a stretch forward. He could have, shoot some threes, whatever. But come on, man, you got rid of Sprewell, man. Sprewell's the guy, But I was upset. I was devastated, and then that was the time around 2004. Obviously, the Isaiah Thomas regime. He was the president and the coach. We ended up getting Marbury. We ended up getting Francis. We ended up getting Curry. We ended up getting Jerome James. Quentin Richardson. It was a lot, man. That was the time. And I remember 2004 is when we made the playoffs as a 7 seed, lost to a number 2 seed, which was the Nets, and we got swept. And I don't remember if Keith Van Horn was on the team. I think we ended up trading him. And we ended up getting Tim Thomas that year. Tim Thomas from Milwaukee. And, we ended up getting swept. And no, that wasn't Isaiah Thomas, excuse me. That was Lenny Wilkins was the coach. Then in 2005, that's when Isaiah Thomas took over. And that just went downhill from there, you know. And I mean, I'm sure a lot of Knicks fans lived it, got used to it, really, just being garbage for so many years, from 2005, 6, 7, all the way to when Stoudemire joined the team, right? 2010, 2011, and then we ended up making the trade for Melo. But from 05 to 09, really, that was just a bad years. We ended up having a 33-win season with Isaiah when he first coached. And then I remember he ended up, 2006, he ended up drafting David Lee and Nate Robinson. Now, David Lee I liked. David Lee was another player that I really fell in love with. He was a 6'9" power forward. And I remember when Mike D'Antoni ended up being a coach, he was playing center. So he was a 6'9", undersized center. But I loved his hustle. I loved his work ethic. He was always a double-double machine, 20-10 guy every night. I loved that guy very much. I remember he became an all-star representing the Knicks. He was awesome, man. And surprisingly, I'm actually disappointed in myself. I don't really have his jersey. I should have, at that time, I didn't really buy anybody's jerseys. I don't even have this Latrell Sprewell jersey. I remember my brother at the time ended up buying a Latrell Sprewell jersey, the authentic one. At that time, it was about like $250 or $300, but it was a real good-looking jersey. It was a home jersey. It had a little like shine to it. The New York and the number was all stitched up. But I don't have his jersey. He might have took it. He would have been up here. I mean, listen, I love Ewing. Ewing is he was the guy. 15 years with the team, but Sprewell I loved, man. Sprewell was the most electrifying player that I've ever got to see, and at that time. Then it was David Lee. I never ended up buying his jersey. So then now we head into the Stoudemire era. I love Stoudemire, and the only reason I loved Stoudemire because he's the one that had the guts, the balls to join the Knicks when the Knicks were absolute garbage. You had Melo, you had LeBron, Wade, Bosh. I remember Joe Johnson at the time. They all left. They didn't want to join the Knicks, but Stoudemire did it. He did. 5 years, $100 million. I remember the contract. And he loved it, man. He loved it being here. They actually started off the season well. He was an MVP candidate at one point, averaging 26.7 points per game. And I remember he was playing with Wilson Chandler, Gallinari, Felton, and they were doing good. They were actually doing good. They were running Mike D'Antoni's offense beautifully. And then next thing you know, we ended up trading everybody for Melo. I'm not a Melo guy. I've never been a Melo guy. I know I was aware at the time he was really good, but when he was with the Nuggets, but I never really liked Melo that much. I was never my player. But we ended up getting him. I remember we made it to the playoffs. I think we was a 7th seed. We lost to Miami, in 5. So then a year after year, at that time with Melo, we was going to the playoffs. I was all happy, but I just didn't like the way the team played. Like, I didn't have any confidence. Even when they were number 2 seed with Jason Kidd and Marcus Camero, never had the confidence. And it turned out it was right because you lost to Indiana. And I believe that at that time they built that team to beat Miami, but they was not going to beat Miami. They didn't beat Indiana. So, and then after that year, that's when everything went just really dark. We got Phil Jackson. Everybody was all hyped. I was. He hired Derek Fisher. Fisher was garbage. 17 wins. And then we were expecting to get a number 1 pick, Karl Anthony Towns. It was supposed to be. We ended up getting number 3, which was Kristaps Porzingis, which I have his jersey. Never really became a fan. And then we had hope. He was a unicorn, as Kevin Durant called him. His game was different. We looked at Porzingis at that time, the way his game was, the way people are looking at Wembanyama now. That's how talented he was. We've never seen it before. And he was an okay player. I mean, he got injuries here and there. Then I felt like he was becoming more of a diva. And I'm glad that they actually traded him. It was a shocking trade, but they traded him. And I also have a story about that as well. So then everything just went downhill. We was losing a lot of games. Then it became Fisher, Jeff Hornacek, Mike Miller. And then there was David Fizdale. We ended up getting Barrett. We went through all of this to where we are now when we ended up signing Randall, which I liked at the time. I know we were supposed to get Durant, Kyrie. I liked Randall. signing. I didn't like Marcus Morris. I didn't like Frank Ntilikina. I didn't like none of these guys. Randall was the guy. He was averaging 24 and 12 when the year before he was with the New Orleans. And obviously you don't really have a team to mesh with him, with his game. And so but he ended up staying. We ended up hiring Tom Thibodeau. I remember we made it to the playoffs that year. The next year we didn't. Then we got Brunson. Then little by little we was getting Brunson and Josh Hart. Everything became well. Now I feel very comfortable, very happy where we are now, after going through all the bad seasons, horrible seasons throughout the years. But I'm happy where we are now. Now I want to talk about. There's two stories I want to tell. I remember 2016. The Knicks were playing the Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron's in town, Kyrie's in town, Kevin Love's in town. They came to the Garden. It was a national televised game. Melo was there. Porzingis was playing. I remember we had Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, Brandon Jennings. I remember that was the Knicks. But we ended up getting destroyed that game. And we had good seats. I ended up buying those tickets. It was a gift for my brother for his wedding. And it was a very expensive tickets because LeBron was in town and all. But we ended up sitting by the tunnel, and there was a lot of celebrities there. A lot of stars were at that game, and obviously one of them were, if you guys consider him a star, I do, Stephen A. Smith. Now Stephen A. Smith was there. He was right by the tunnel, and the scoreboard there was a blowout, and I saw his face. I'm like to my brother, can I ask? You think it's a good timing to ask for a picture? Like, when am I gonna ask him? Where am I gonna see him again? He's like, yeah, of course, ask him, So I ended up calling Stephen A. I'm like, yo, can we take a picture? And this was the picture right here, right by the tunnel. I had great seats. I remember those seats because there was a package with those seats where we had our different type of entrance, where in that area where people were sitting, they got their own entrance. So we skipped the line. We skipped the line, express line. Then we had the waiter or the waitress were coming. They were coming to us, whether we wanted drinks or not. We didn't have to get up and go get drinks because we were really almost by the court side. I think it was like a row 6 or 7. We was right behind James Dolan. Knicks bench was there, and the tunnel was right there. And it was great seats, and I ended up buying the same tickets for another game. I don't remember the year. I think it was I want to say 2000 and let's see. I don't recall the year Kristaps Porzingis got traded. I think it was 2018. I don't really remember. And then I ended up buying same tickets, same seats, obviously cheaper because the Knicks were awful that year, and it was for my other brother. It was his birthday. This was in January, right? So we went. It was against Dallas Mavericks. It was Dirk Nowitzki's last year and his last game at the Garden. And Doncic, that's where he was rising. I think it was his first. I think it was his rookie year or his second year, but he was good. So we ended up going. My brother enjoyed the game. He was shocked. I never told him the seats where we were. He was shocked. So we was coming out on a different level on the top of the stairs. We were going down. We was going downstairs after downstairs after downstairs. My brother was like, where are we sitting, on the court side? I'm like, no. We're sitting here. This is where I had my other brother. Now we got the same seats, same package, and everything. And I remember before the game started, we ended up going to a restaurant. That was part of the package where we got nice steak, nice food. And we were those people that had those type of tickets, they had access to that restaurant and all. So it was an awesome day. It was an awesome game. And I remember Kristaps Porzingis was hurt. He didn't play. He was in a suit. Now I remember when the second half started, all the teams comes out. Second half started, and Kristaps Porzingis didn't come out. And I knew, because I paid attention. I always knew the players that got injured, they would always come out on the tunnel where the Knicks benches are. Usually they don't come out that tunnel. They come out, when it's halftime, they go on the opposite side of the court. They go on the other side of the tunnel. We were sitting on the opposing side of the tunnel, but because the second half started, I knew the players that were injured would come out on that tunnel. So I was looking back at the tunnel, looking back a few times. I was waiting to see if Kristaps Porzingis would come out, and he did. So as soon as I told him, fucking the guy was tall, man. And so I had my phone out. I'm like, can we take a picture, please? He gave me a point. He pointed at me. He comes right next to me, and boom, there's the picture right here. That was the picture I took with him, and I appreciated that because he didn't have to do it, but he did, and I really appreciate that. So these are the two great pictures I have, the only time pictures I have that I get to keep. Stephen A. Smith, Kristaps Porzingis. So I kept these pictures. It's a memory that I like to keep, and then obviously we lost the game. It was Dirk's last time there, and Dante's was great. So then the game was over, and the funny thing is, the next day, Kristaps Porzingis got traded to the Dallas Mavericks. So that was the time. I remember I was shocked. I'm like, what a crazy timing! I took a picture with the guy, and the next day he gets traded. That's how it all happened, and that was just the great stories to tell. I always like to share stories. I still have a lot more stories. I've been to many Knicks games. The last Knicks game I've been to was last year, first round, which by the way is a towel right here. I don't know if you can see it. First round, game 2. It was against the Detroit Pistons. I ended up going with my father. We've been to a lot. I took my father to his first Knicks game. I think it was 3 years ago when they played the Cleveland Cavaliers first round. He was excited. He was happy. He experienced it. He really, it was just his first time, so he didn't know what to expect, but the crowd was loud, crazy. Knicks blew them out, I remember. And then everybody was chanting Derrick Rose because that was Derrick Rose's last year. He wasn't really in the rotation. But, he was, we got everything that game. And I was just happy that my dad enjoyed it. But I still have a lot more stories to tell, but I just don't really have the time to tell it now. Believe me, we're going to have a lot more vlogs to do about the Knicks. I'm looking forward to it. Now, let's talk about the current team right now. So, this is the standings right here. So, as we're sitting on a number 3 seed. We're a game and a half behind the Boston Celtics. That's the one I want. I want the number 2 seed. I think it's very important, especially most likely we're going to end up playing the Celtics in the second round. Knicks fans should want that 2 seed. They need that home court advantage game 1 and 2. This year, they're a lot better home team than they were last year. Last year, I believe we got lucky with the Celtics. Game 1 and 2, it was down 20. We ended up winning those games. And whatever, we won, right? So game 3 we lost. Game 4 we won fair and square. Game 6 we won fair and square, and we won the series. But this year, you really think that the Celtics forgot what happened last year? Now that Tatum's coming back, you still got another 15 to 10 games left in the season. He's still going to get his rhythm back. I truly believe if we're going to end up meeting them in the second round, I think it's very important for the Knicks to have that home court advantage. And I believe we're going to take that second seed, and I believe we're going to beat the Celtics, but it's not going to be an easy series. And the first round, if the playoffs started now, let me put the standings back. If the playoffs started now, we would be ending up playing Orlando. Now, Orlando we always had a tough time playing with, but I think I truly believe with this team, we need that tough round just to wake us up, to be prepared mentally, physically prepared for the Celtics or for the Pistons. But I do not want to play Toronto. I know we're going to destroy Toronto, but my whole point is to be mentally focused and prepared. We're going to either have to play Orlando or Philly or maybe even Atlanta, just so we could be like, okay, we got through this round. It was tough. Now we're ready, and let's go after Celtics. Let's go after the Pistons. So that's where we are right now. So we're at a number 3 seed, and obviously you see the Pistons. They clinched already. Pistons scares the hell out of me. Obviously, bad news for Kate Cunningham, which leaves the window open for the Knicks to make a run to the finals. But I think he's gonna be back, and I'm still scared of that team, man. When you have a team identity, like toughness, doesn't back down, defense, always put in effort, that's the team to really watch out for. It's not just for the Knicks. They can make a run to win it all. They are that type of team. And I truly believe, now that Kate Cunningham is out, if he was healthy, I truly believe first and second round they're going to sweep whoever they're going to play. That's how I believe that team, when they want something, they will come and get it. Like they wanted the Knicks this year. They destroyed the Knicks all 3 games because they wanted the Knicks. They always felt like they had it last year. They felt like they could have beaten the Knicks last year. And you have that chip on you. You have that weight on you where you can be like, okay, we want that team. We want to destroy that team. And that's what they did. Now, we got destroyed last year to Celtics in the season. We got destroyed Cleveland last year. I remember it was like, what, 0-10, 0-13 with top teams in the season last year. But we ended up going into the conference finals. So my hope, that's the only hope I could have, is we lost 3 games to the Pistons. And the playoffs is different. Let's see. The playoffs is different. Maybe Knicks will be much more prepared. They'll play much more real, more toughness, more energy to go against a team like that. And let's see. I'm looking forward to it. So, we won last night against the Nets. Another close game. I just don't like the way this team playing right now. They're just not. It doesn't give me, like last year. How can I say it? We don't have an identity. So it's hard to be consistent. Like, you blow out the Nuggets, you blow out the Spurs, but you lose. You get blown out by the Lakers, you lose to the Clippers. Like, this is like, I don't know, man. We have like the 2 softest players in the game, Mikal Bridges and Towns. Towns is actually getting better, but Mikal Bridges, I'm just done with that guy, man. He sucks. I can't believe we gave up so many picks. I was never with that trade. I didn't like that trade at all. And I felt like we didn't need him. We had DiVincenzo, we had OG, but you had to trade DiVincenzo and Randall. I loved Randall too. I didn't want to get rid of him, and you ended up getting Towns. Now, Towns was good last year under Tom Thibodeau, but you got rid of the coach, which I was never a fan of, and you got Mike Brown. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say. I still feel, I'm watching the game, I still feel like he's trying to figure it out. The team, he's trying to figure it out. He's trying to find the rotation. He's putting Jordan Clarkson back, which I've always liked. I don't know why he was never in the rotation. Jose Alvarado and stuff. So, and let's see, man. I think our bench is deep. I like Diarra, if I'm saying this name correct. I like him. He's getting better. He's a long wingspan, long defender. He's a defender, so he's good. And Mitchell Robinson is always, he's a beast on offensive rebounds. But let's see. We still got another games left. I think we got about, I want to say, either 3 or 4 games. I think we got the easiest schedule. So this is a perfect time to make a run for that second seed and to be mentally prepared and have your rotation in order to heading into the playoffs. I think it's very important. Now, I believe we have about 3 or 4 games where we're going against teams 500 or more. Like, I know we got OKC coming up soon, but I don't remember who the other teams. I think it was the Celtics, maybe. Not really sure. So, and then the rest of the teams are garbage. They're not a good team. They're all garbage teams. So we should be able to win these games. But for God's sake, Celtics will keep winning. I think they're in a 5th-game winning streak right now. No, we're in a 5th-game winning streak right now. They're on a 4-game winning streak right now. So, and from my understanding, I didn't see their schedule, but I heard that they got one of the toughest schedule coming up. So let's see. I really want that second seed. To me, I feel like it's important. So let me know what you guys think. Comment below, man, with all this, with everything I've said. With how did you become a Knicks fan? Where do you think the Knicks are going now? I would like to collaborate soon in the future about the Knicks with other people, with other Knicks fans, whether we debate, we talk Knicks. I love the Knicks. I want to talk about this team very much. So let's see where we're going to be heading. How we're going to end the season well. All right, guys. So that's where we are with the standings now. So that's how I feel about the Knicks at the current moment. So hopefully we can end the season strong and take that second seed. I think it's very important. So let's see how that goes. Also, there was a report 2 days ago. I think it was like 2-3 days ago. They talked about Deuce McBride. I think this was it right here. Deuce McBride is taking contact. So according to Mike Brown, Deuce McBride is progressing and taking contact, but there's still no timetable on his return yet. Now, I was under the impression that he was going to be out for a whole year. Some said like 6 to 8 weeks. Some said a whole year. Now, if we could get him back, right on the time when the playoff starts, I think is huge. I think it's very huge. He's a good defender, and obviously we need bench points along with Jordan Clarkson and Mitchell Robinson. So I think it'll be huge if he could come back and be ready for the playoffs. So I think that'll be a great addition. And I also want to mention, there's the article, was it 3 days ago? This was an article from New York Post. The Knicks owner launches Thank You NYPD campaign, complete with star-studded special concert at the MSG. This is awesome. I really like what he's doing here. He's been, I've never liked Dolan. And I never liked him because he was always getting involved with the team's decision, and he didn't know nothing about basketball. But the last 3-4 years, now that we've been winning, he has been doing some good things. Like, I remember there was a video where he was giving an autographed ball, a couple of basketballs, to the kids when he was driving out of the garden, and handing over the kids. I'm sure you guys seen those videos, the Knicks fans. I know you guys seen those videos. So that's a nice thing to do. And now he's launching this Thank You NYPD. I mean, I like it, man. I mean, he clearly, show a lot of respect to the NYPD, to the law enforcement. They should. They recently haven't been treated very well. I know the current mayor is not treating them very well, not paying a lot of respect for them or supporting them, having their backs. And they should get a lot of support. They should, even though there have been a few bad apples here and there. But overall, they're there to protect the New Yorkers, and they're risking their lives to protect us. So I think it's a good thing for James Dolan to do. I really do appreciate that. It's a lot of respect for that. So that's all. That's what I wanted to mention as well with James Dolan. So guys, that's all I got, man. I didn't want to. This is my first vlog here talking about the Knicks. I got a lot more to say. So please comment below. Tell me when did you become a Knicks fan? What was your first Knicks game? Who was your favorite Knicks players? Everything, man. Comment everything below. I want to read it. I want to learn everything about it. And I want to soon in the future on this Vlog Palace here to do a collaboration with the real Knicks fans and talk about the Knicks, debate about the Knicks, talk about the Knicks, whatever, talk about the history. And I want to do that very soon. So yeah, that's pretty that's something I want to do in the future. I know I'm a huge Yankee fan. I want to talk Yankees, even though the season's about to start soon. So I'm very excited about that. Obviously, I'm a Giants fan, so I like to talk about all the Giants moves that they have done with John Harbaugh and a whole bunch of players that they've signed. I want to talk about Marvel. I want to do a lot of different things on this vlog. So let me know what you guys think about this background. Look at this. I got this at Coney Island when it was like a 3-point shooting contest in Coney Island. I ended up winning this flag here. This jersey is not mine. It was my brother's, but I took it just to hang it up. That's mine. I got a jacket here that my wife ended up buying for me. It was like a gift. This hat, I got it last year with the towel there. It was in the playoffs. So I ended up buying that hat. I bought it at the Garden. Then you got the ball. I ended up getting the ball. Let me see this. Yeah, right here. This is the ball right here. I got this for my son. He plays this. I just took it just to put in the back right here. So it's awesome. I like a lot of Knicks stuff. But recently I just got myself right here. See, I just bought it. The tag's still on it. The Jalen Brunson All-Star, the USA. I love it. I love this jersey. It looks sick. I like the fact that it says USA on it. Love this, it looks sick. I love the colors. You got the red and white stripes on the side. So I just bought this now. Just now, 2 days ago, I ordered a Aaron Judge USA jersey. So I'm looking forward to that one. I want to show that off on the Vlog Palace when we do the Yankees, when we talk about Yankees. So I still got a lot of jerseys to show, but we're going to do a lot more on this next talk very soon, guys. So I appreciate it very much. That's all I got for you guys. So thank you again for watching. Please comment below. Let me know everything you know about the Knicks, how you grew up loving the Knicks, what made you start it, everything, your favorite players, everything. All right, guys. So thank you very much. I'll see you guys on the next one.